Surfing for life. I have always loved the ocean. And when I was younger, I was an avid surfer. I used to like to go surfing early in the morning before anybody got to the beach. Being on the East Coast, I would see some beautiful sunrises while floating half submerged in the Atlantic Ocean. Spending hours out on the ocean, you would learn tides and runouts and rip currents. You would also learn human beings and their habits. The beach that I normally surf at had a pretty strong runout and very dangerous rip currents occasionally. One day while surfing, I spotted a group of girls that seemed to be out further than normal. I started paddling my surfboard toward them and was asking if everybody was all right. They flipped me off and told me to go away. But on another glassy morning, I heard a family yelling from the beach. I looked around in the water and saw a young boy splashing around like an inexperienced swimmer. After my last encounter with the girls, I was hesitant to paddle over, but I did anyway. I kept asking if he was all right, and I was getting no response as his arms and his head were bobbing up and down in the water. Right now, maybe he was 20 yards from me, and I increased my speed. As I got closer, I kept calling out to him to see if he was all right, with no response. By the time I reached him, I had to reach under my surfboard to grab him around his wrist. I pulled him up onto my surfboard. All he kept saying was, "I was just trying to stay afloat. I was just trying to stay afloat." I turned my surfboard toward the shore and started paddling as hard as I could. He was more toward the front of my surfboard, which was making it more difficult to paddle. I told him to move back and he did. That's when I noticed that we were in a very strong rip current and it was very difficult no matter how hard I paddled to move my board. I just kept struggling and doing it. We are now maybe 30 yards from the shore, but I kept pressing on. I was getting tired and the struggle was harder than I anticipated, but I knew we were both safe, so I was calm. When I finally got him into waist-deep water, he jumped off the board and just went running up the beach. He even ran past his family, who had been watching intently from the beach. I just remember his mother shouting to him, "Thank that man! Thank that man!" I just remember him running up the beach and not even looking back. I think about that kid a lot. I wonder if he ever thinks about me.
Follow for more.